This episode is brought to you by America's Rehab Campus. Get on the road to recovery with the best rehab in beautiful Arizona. Dial 1-833-272-7342. That's 1-833-ARC-REHAB. Hey guys, Buddha here. Thank you so much for tuning in to part 2 of this episode. Without further ado, let's jump right back into it.
I'm glad you shared that, man. No, that wasn't easy, dog.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
So in the Flagstaff, you're passed out.
We're still on this, right?
Yeah.
You start when you're ready, dude.
Heck yeah.
You know, sorry. That's something. This is a podcast for Zane, not me, but
Nah, man.
I just had to share that about what type of person and character I know. You know, everybody always judges or makes
It's about us,
their own
dog.
perception of, you know, what people are. But, you know, the fact of the matter is that me and Zane have been real close, best friends for 12 years, you know, and it, I think by him not shooting that dude, just he got to save somebody else's life too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, is the way I view it. But I appreciate that from him. And
Yeah, and you say it's my story, dude. You're a big part of my story, dog. You know that. You know, 12 years of thick and thin, dude. We've been through some shit. We've been through some shit, you know what I mean?
Huge, bro.
Yeah, blowing up that chair, dude. That's when we became inseparable. Like, literally. Probably.
Well, you did. Like, you
were following me around like a bitch, dude.
you
You
resented
didn't know what to do with your life, dude.
He's like,
I had to
mad
show
at
you around
you.
the gym and everything, dude.
I'm mad at you.
Everywhere we go, dude, I didn't get it when we first met, dude. He's got all these tattoos and shit. People mad dogging Maddie like he's fucking
I know.
slept with their sisters, dude. And I'm like, what's
Taliban.
going on right now, dude? And so I'm like, why that guy looking at you like he wants to stab you, dude? And it would make me upset. And he's like, dude, I'm used to it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I ain't getting used to it. I don't like it, dude. But it took me a while, dude, to be like, you know what I mean? Because perception, you know what I mean? People and their fucking bullshit. So.
Mm-hmm.
But we became inseparable at that point. Like every day, fucking donuts and meetings and
We go to Dunkin' Donuts and he'd eat like 6 bear claws and I get 50 donut holes. And like, that was years of every morning.
that was our new abuse right there.
Yeah. But
But people would, like, I would go to meetings sometimes without Matt or whatever, and they'd be like, where's Matt? I'm like, I don't know, fucking call him, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that everyone, and same thing with him. He's like, I don't know, he ain't my fucking son. You know what I mean? Like, ask Zane where he's at, dude.
you know, a lot of good stuff, you know, and there's also been like times where we've had, I mean, that's what happens, right? You have issues come up, whether it was something I did or something he did, you know, and the fact is at the end of the day, what you look at is that person. You can be mad and upset, you know, but and that's happened a couple of times, but there's not anywhere in that I ever think I'm never ever going to be his friend because I love the guy and all that. And you get over it and it's like honest, hey, dude, I didn't appreciate this. It's just going to take me a minute to get over, and that's happened both ways, you know. And I think that's how you can kind of judge a true friendship.
Yeah.
You know, and an intimate relationship, you know, not intimate doesn't mean have to be sexual or anything like that, but like intimate is like he knows what's underneath the skin, what my fears are, what things I've gone through, what the things I'm scared to just outburst and let everybody know, you know, and that is never like
We became brothers, dude.
it's never been thrown back on me for something.
We became brothers. Like, brothers disagree, brothers fight, brothers love each other unconditionally.
He's just
You know what
lucky
I
he
mean?
never got the fist because I'd fuck him up.
He doesn't want these elbows, dude.
Can't take me down.
And another thing too, man, I mean, you were talking about that situation just a little bit earlier about, you know, your friend and your wife and all that stuff. And it's like, you know, you're going through those moments, then you finally have the opportunity to meet a real friend and you see that loyalty, you see that respect, and it trumps in comparison to what you thought was considered a friend in the first place.
Yeah, and you know, everything changes for almost everybody, like the seasons of life in 7 years. You know what I mean? If you can make it past 7 years with somebody, you guys are probably going to be friends for life. And I have some friends like that I grew up with, a couple that are still there. And Matt's the newest one, you know what I mean, on the roster.
That's cool.
But he is, you know, he's up there, you know, top 2, top 3 for sure. And if I needed something right now, he would probably be the first call I made. You know what I mean? It's not going to change.
I'd be collect too, but I'd still cheap motherfucker.
It's not going to change. You know
from
what I
an
mean?
ARC landline. From his,
So, but, and then the story kind of, too, or my third treatment, Matt was a huge part of that. That's what landed me here.
So, okay, you got out of that treatment center.
Okay.
How long were you sober after that?
A year, almost to the day.
A whole year.
Yeah. And I was living with Maddie, and I relapsed. And I had my hand on my roommate's door, and I was going to tell him I'm ready to go get high. Like today's the day, and I didn't open the door. He was on the other side of it. I'm like, he's just going to fucking talk me out of it. You know what I mean? So it was like the devil and the angel. You know what I mean? And they were both talking, and I didn't listen to the angel. So the dark side came out, and I went back to what I know. I went and started huffing gas. We were living at that place in Mesa.
Yeah.
I was managing sober living houses, like 7 of them.
Matt, did you pick up on that? Did you know that he was going through a rough time around that time?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you know Zane like I do, like over the years, you've gotten to know when I know he's struggling. You know, it's just, you know, I walk in the office one day and I can tell Dustin's struggling. Mm-hmm. They wear it in their faces, you know, and Zane, you know, had a lot of stress and a lot of things going and a lot of questions to where there's no real answer.
Yeah.
So it's a sit and spin, right? And for him, a sit and spin is not good because he'll sit and he'll be in his room for 5 days. And
stew.
I used to worry, you know, when you live with somebody, you realize, hey, I haven't seen him out of the room in 5 days.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's alive, but because I can hear him in there coughing or doing whatever. But I just knew, like, I'd knock on the door. Hey, do you want to go over here? Do you want to do this? You know,
it was dark.
No,
there was a lot of people around.
Answers.
A lot of people started to cut you off, Matt. A lot of people around me in the rooms of AA and CA getting things back, and I didn't think I was getting the things back that I should have gotten back in a year. So my expectations were, you know, my kids are going to be back in my life.
Unrealistic.
Yeah. I mean, it was like I watched this guy and that guy, and I was doing all this comparing. Like, why not me? I'm sober.
Were you putting in as much work as everyone else you felt at that?
I thought I was.
Yeah.
I thought I was. But I started working the steps backwards. I don't know if you ever heard that, but I started to stop being of service, and I stopped doing the meditations and things that I was supposed, and I literally stopped doing all the shit, but I started doing the steps the other way. Okay. Next thing I know, I'm a newcomer again. Literally, I'm at fucking, you know, am I really an alcoholic? Am I really, you know?
Good question.
Stop.
Go find out, motherfucker.
Finding differences in between us and people, or myself and other people in the rooms, like why Dustin needs it more than I do, you know, or hey, Joe Blow over there talks about how he loves his wife and family, but yet we're at a convention, he's banging prostitutes and playing poker till fucking 4 a.m. You know, like, is everybody just full of shit?
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want to be, you know, so it's very confusing, but quite long. That was a long answer to the question. Like, I could tell something was going on, and we found him like in his truck and took him, and it was a day of huffing, you know, and he got back on.
One day.
Got back on the saddle, and
but I lost my job in one day too.
No shit.
Oh yeah, I was running sober houses. You can't be fucking newcomer running sober houses, right? So I handed they handed the job off. I was like, I told Dan, I said, you know, if anybody, it should be Tom Fay. You know, that was like 2 months earlier, because I knew I was probably, you know, headed to some bullshit. Maybe 2 weeks early, I don't remember. And he's like, no, it should be this guy. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I got high, and I said, give it to Tom. So they handed it to another guy, and he took off with it. And then I kind of went my own way, right? I went back into the restaurant industry, and I met a girl, and that got disastrous. Oof.
It's weird how there's always those fucking stepping stones whenever you're trying to do something good, huh?
Yeah.
It comes in the form of like the poison, man, that you like the most with women, whatever it may be. You know?
I was very uncomfortable being new again in the program after a year.
That ego.
It was
having to walk in and ask for a newcomer chip.
It was like somebody cut my right arm off, dude. It was terrible. I hated it, but I did it, right? And then, you know, there were some really dark years with you know who, right? I got into a relationship where I thought I was going to get married, and that lasted about 5 or 6 years, and then bing, boom, bam, you know.
But all those things happen, you know, when you get to the place where we're at today, and you can like see why you had to take the direction to get to where you're at today.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to speak for both, but I'm a completely different person than I was when Zane met me, but yet I'm the same person. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
My life isn't about, hey, what can we do today to, you know, fuck around and, you know, do all these things. My life today is completely different. You know, but I'm still the same person. I still live my life with loyalty, honesty, things like those things that really actually matter. That the only things that I can control, what people know about me, right?
Yeah.
And I do that for my kids to see. I do that for my wife to see, my coworkers, my inner circle of friends. I don't like people very much. And I have a very tight knit circle, and it's not like people are blessed, but when you're in that circle, like I'm willing to do whatever it is I can for somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's nice to not be a threat to the community that you live in these days too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I really appreciate that I don't walk out my door and fucking the rest of the world has to worry about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a big deal for me.
And I think it's important for people to hear that part, like you said, being sober for a year and then going back to it, and then what you were feeling too, because there's probably people out there that are getting close to a year and starting to feel like things are falling apart or they don't have purpose or whatever. So what was it? I'm just curious for both of you guys, what was it that now is different in comparison to when, you initially were in that?
That's a great question, Buddha. I have to help people every day. I have to have a routine of what I'm going to do, or at least like a purpose every day. You know what I mean? Like my day has to stay full, 10, 12 hours at least, you know what I mean, of a full day, or I'll get sidetracked quick. If I have 2 days in a row that I'm not doing anything during the week, could be bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Literally. And I get these like sinus infections, and I had some migraines and everything else. And I'll start to 3 days in, dude, I'll start to get into these like pity parties and these weird places in my head. And like, you should be out there. You're not doing enough. They're going to fire you, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, I'll really beat myself up. This place is scary to be in, dude. You know what I mean? So I have to stay completely active in my thoughts and my what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be purpose for me to be throughout the day.
And for you, bro?
I think what's the difference today?
Yeah, like you look back at that part of your life. You were sober at the time. Yeah. But what makes it different now? Is it the same thing?
I've had a relapse in between there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't fixate on whether or not I'm like living life how certain programs tell me I have to live, right?
Yeah.
I took everything that I've learned over the years of reading books, self-help books, going to different types of meetings, different associations, seeing different types of, behaviors. And I created my own tailor-made suit, right? And I think as for me today, what's important for me is that I'm available, like Zane said. I'm available for people.
Yeah.
First and utmost, my family, right? I didn't get sober to go to meetings every day and not eat dinner with my family and, I have to do this for recovery. I have to do that. Like, I got clean and sober so I would be clear and present for my kids, my wife, my dad, my other family, my sister,
your circle, your friends,
yeah,
boys.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's just different for me. Cause I mean, you see people, no matter what age they are. I've seen 70-year-old people still smoking crack and snorting coke. And then it's like, it doesn't matter your age. Like, what is it? And we've had this, talk with Mike on the podcast too. And Zane talked about purpose. But what is my purpose today? My purpose isn't about making Matt feel good all the time, right? Like it used to just be, what is it I can do? Who can I do? How much money can I make? What can I buy? What can I get? About filling all these holes with material things and all that crap that doesn't matter, that can be taken away at any given time. Or I can fill it with walking my daughter down the aisle. I'm always being available for them. When a friend calls, I pick up. If I can't, it's, hey, I'm tied up. I'll call you when I can. Just like me doing what I say I'm going to do, me doing for others. It's not always about me.
Yeah.
And
I was
just gonna say the same thing. Like, this shit ain't about me like every day like it used to be.
And I think
I'm good with that.
That's the biggest.
Good.
That's the biggest change. And the fact of, I matured. I still laugh at fart jokes and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Fuck
yeah, dude.
That's a new sound
like
effect
to have
I gotta get.
fun, and I like to smile, and I like to feel good, and I like other people to smile and laugh, and I like for other people to feel good.
Heck yeah.
You know,
a lot of live and learn, dude. Trial and error.
That's so cool, man. And I think that information is so vital because I like to think of the people that are listening to this, you know? I mean, maybe they're not going to meetings. Maybe they're not, you know, little by little, they're starting to kind of step away from those steps and they don't even realize it yet. Hopefully your guys' story and your guys' strength, all of you, man. I mean, all the stuff that you guys have been through can help keep them on track and keep them in the saddle.
I don't care what keeps you sober or makes you happy. Like, find it and do it with passion and purpose. You know what I mean? If that's your fucking book club, or if that's the fucking, you know what I mean, Jelly of the Month club. I don't give a fuck, dude. You know what I mean? The chess team, getting involved in your kids' sports, you know, volunteering, whatever the fuck, church, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be there. You know what I mean? If that makes you happy, be there.
Making and holding up a commitment.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no certain guidebook on how to raise your kids. And I believe that there's no certain guidebook on how to stay sober. You have to figure it out. Like Maddie said, like you take the best of this and you take the best of that and you apply it.
And then you had the facts of life.
Kumbaya, my
Shoulders, knees, and
toes.
Kumbaya.
You know,
Shut up, Dustin.
it's doing the best you can do and making that good decision when nobody's watching as well.
Yeah.
Right? Not just when people are around, right? I pick up trash in front of people or when I ain't gonna just step over if nobody's watching, right? Like I'm not looking to be rewarded.
Yeah.
Just trying to be a constant, a constant book of making better and good decisions.
Heck yeah.
Do good deeds usually makes you feel better. Period.
Dirty deeds.
Mr. Deeds.
There's a show that we watch
Very
called The Chosen, and it's like a faithful show, but it shows all these fishes swimming one way, and they're all just kind of in the water. There's nothing special about them, and then one fish turns, and it's like a beautiful blue, and it goes the opposite direction. And that's what I like to see. Is like, yeah, that's the way that I see it. Is like, you know, it takes work to finally do that, but you're going against what the world teaches us to do, which is to fucking be lazy and to not care and to be selfish and self-centered and all of those things, you know? And I think about that, man, as a father, you know, my pops had his struggles or whatever, but we'll do little things for my son, you know, going to my son's games or even his practices, just the fact that I'm there. Hey, Dad, it's good to see you. I can just see that love in his heart. And I'm like, fuck, how could somebody not want to see that shit in their kids, you know? Like, gets me emotional thinking about that, you know? But no, that's amazing, man. I'm very proud of you guys, all of you guys,
You know,
man,
so
for real.
you graduated ARC and then
Yep.
that was back July 2018.
Yep. I came in on a streak here, and you know, you told me, you pretty much said, you know, I really enjoyed my experience here. I'm not gonna lie.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he said, you know, this is there could be a spot for you here when you're ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you the call. And it was 2 years later. You know what I mean? We had known each other long enough then that it's like, okay, if we can get over that 2-year hump, you know what I mean? And he called me one day, and I wanted the job, you know, that he was in, since he told me, you know, it was a possibility. And that was in the admissions team, and it was working with another friend of ours. And he called me. I think I had 2 years sober. And he's like, yeah, okay, you ready? And it was when COVID hit, and things were kind of getting weird in the restaurant business. And it was like
everywhere. Huh? That's a crazy time.
And it was a new opportunity, and it was like to come back to ARC, and yeah, I just jumped right in. So, and then Nate and Matt basically taught me how to do admissions because I had no idea what I was doing.
Still don't.
Do you know?
I actually taught him too when I came in after.
Can you recall like a moment in particular that you realized shit was going to be different from now on? Were you in a class, or was it just the whole experience in general?
It was probably the first day I walked in, right?
First day Dustin got here.
You met me for the first time.
Who the fuck is this critter, dude?
Dustin's a ray of light.
Stinking up my whole office, dude. I don't know who this guy is. Smells like Crossroads over here, dude.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But you know, that's a great question, Buddha. I don't ever have that like it's gonna be okay moment. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still striving to be there. Like, it's always like a work in progress. You know what I mean? I can never sit there and go like, you know, pinpoint a moment where I knew I was gonna be okay, like reflecting a movie or something. Like, no, I'm still striving to be okay every day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be just who I am today 2 years from now or 3 years from now. You know what I mean? I want to be bumping that up a little bit more.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I mean, I've learned that from Matt, you know what I mean? And that's all about 17-hour days, taking your days from 12-hour days to 17-hour days. You know what I mean? 20-hour days. You know what I mean? Put some of that time in and then talk to me, you know? And I know what it takes, dude. It's just like, you know, I have to get there.
You know, it's funny. It's like he never, he worked in the restaurant business his whole life, basically. And getting him to come over to work in admissions, like at a desk, and
it was double the schedule,
all that stuff, was a big step for him. Right. And then, he wanted to make some changes, and he went out and he's working for another place now, and he's gotten some great opportunities from them. So he had called me one day and was like, hey, I'm not so sure about this place over here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, like, you can do it. Like,
yeah,
hey, like, and if you have questions, I can help you. Yeah. Like, don't sell yourself short and get scared and run off without giving an opportunity, and trying it. Like, I wouldn't tell you something if I was trying to harm you. I wouldn't ever do anything that's going to harm yourself or whatever. But
yeah,
and
I had some rough days in the beginning too. Remember, like the first 90 days I was there, man, I'm like, whoa, what did I do, dude?
Yeah,
you did that when I was there.
What did I do?
What do you mean?
I think I turned my keys in the first week I was there, and another guy told me, he's like, dude, give me a month, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And Matt was like, give it 90 days. And I've always had that in my head. Like, you have to give it a year. You're like, you won't be the new kid at school after a year.
Yeah.
But like the first week of school,
sucks.
No different.
Worst, dude, right? And so, yeah, I had to call Matt on the regular and like vent. But I called him one time and they were like, do you think you can do this job? And I'm like, yeah, let me think about it. And I called him. He's like, what do you mean? Let me think about it, dude. Call him back right now, dude. Of course you can do it. Like, I'm like, I don't know anything about it. He's like, well, you do know people that do know shit about it. And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Call him back.
Yeah.
So I called him back, and that not only gave me a foot in to have that position, but he decided that, maybe this position's even better for you. So me being willing to take that spot, which, I knew nothing about, he was like, no, I think you're better suited for this over here. And
which was better.
It was open another opportunity for me to have like my dream job, what I mean? In this field.
For sure.
And that's where I'm sitting at now too. So, I mean, but like you said, when is it okay? I don't have that, you know what I mean? Because the next thing is like, there's another position that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to figure out.
Well, like, and the reality is there's some days, like, I mean, I do it too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like, especially even recently, like there's days where I'm not okay. Like, and I don't get okay. Right. And like, sometimes, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I have to like fight, like I said, like I have to fight with my demons in my head. I have to reach out and talk to other people about it to get like an outside, you know what I mean? So that's the reality, is like, it's not always okay. Like I said, I mean, like, just for me personally, like the last month, like I feel like I've had a lot of not okay days, and it's like thrown me off, right? Because I'm not used to it, and I'm like, dude, like what's going on?
And what do you do when that happens, D?
Dude, I mean, honestly, like I'm still fucking figuring it out, right?
Do you call somebody? Do you
sometimes,
tell somebody?
Sometimes I fucking sit there and I fucking stew in my own shit,
right?
Like, and sometimes I like, I reach out or I talk to someone, or more so it's someone like, you know what I mean, like Matt, like he's saying, you can fucking see it, like, and they'll bring it out of me, or you know what I mean. But that's like the reality of it, is like I still have to on a regular basis, and like I'm an uptick recently, like still trying to fucking figure out myself and like how I deal with shit, and like how, you know what I mean. And it's just a learning process, dude.
You know what's crazy? I've listened to the episodes, and I've heard a lot of people say this, and it's true. There's a lot of comparisons to like the biblical principles and like the AA and like these different books are very similar. And, I struggle with depression and anxiety a lot. Like my depression's gotten real fucking bad over the last few years. And there's times where, I'll be like in my head or whatever, and I'm like, God, take this shit away, please, man. Like, I'm tired of having this. I'm tired of having this. I'm tired of it. And at one time, man, I remember, this pastor that I was listening to, he was talking about, he's like, the evil forces of the devil, whatever, will throw these things at you, and you could, want them to go away. You could want this shit to disappear. And he's like, but sometimes, you just got to put on that armor of God, and you got to fight it. You got to be a fucking fighter. And that was one of the things that I like really had to sit with me, because I'm over here like just hoping that, if I'm doing good and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, that all of this shit's going to go away. But I think life, we're just supposed to be fucking fighters sometimes, and just, be able to go against it.
Yeah, and I really think too, and this resonates for me, and it's a part of me and how I deal with stuff. It's like I can ask that higher power, can you please take this from me, right? And then as soon as he does, I grab hold and hold on to it more. It's like, okay,
or something else.
Yeah, you're not. I told you to remove that feeling from me, but I want to punish myself and I'm going to hold on to it longer, and I reach up and grab it, right? So it's like, be careful what you wish for, what you pray for, and no other signs, right? Like I heard early on, it was like, hey, I can pray all day for a fucking sandwich, but if I'm not gonna get my ass up and make that sandwich, I probably ain't
not gonna fall from the sky.
That's real. That is so true.
There's some things that I've learned too, dude. And to be honest with you, one of them is probably depression, anxiety, bipolar, manic, the whole thing, dude. Right? Is I probably should be taking a handful of pills for that shit every day. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I've learned how not to. Yeah. Because I took drugs instead of medicine. You know what I mean? When I was dealing with all that pain and all that shit, I took drugs. So I figured out how not to live with the drugs, and it has cleared up a lot of that shit.
That's good.
You know what I mean? It's just the depression, the anxiety, the longer you get deeper into sobriety and you find things that make you happy, the easier it gets, dude. And someone told me here, we all have our pain. It's how much can you take and how do you manage it?
Yeah.
We all have our fucking pain. Like, how do you deal with it? How much can you take before you deal with it? Yeah. And then another thing that, I don't want to get all cliche, but remember Sam, that chick that we used to hang out with? She was like a dude, you know what I mean? I bounced off chick shit off of her all the time. And she told me, she goes, Zane, you have to think of yourself as a puppy. You know what I mean? And she would say, would you kick a puppy?
Yes. Oh.
We know you would.
Dumbass.
I saw one.
But she said, you can't kick the puppy. You know what I mean? Like the person who's going to be beating you up the worst is going to be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And we're our worst critics, bro.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is we keep it inside most of the time. So we don't even fucking share all of it. So and half the time it's something that's not even that big of a deal. Or like when you do fucking say it, they're like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we fucking, or at least me, like I'll spin like the littlest thing around to make it like huge, right? And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, how is this like? Why is this? And then you like say it to someone, and you're like, dude, like, hey, like tape it.
And I think that's the perfect way of having like describing like our inner circles of friends.
Absolutely.
Right?
Have to bounce it off each other.
Hey, dude, like, I know I can say whatever it is to you guys and tell you exactly how I'm feeling, and you're not gonna. I might say, "Hey, dude," you're like, "Hey, how can I help you? You got a bullet and a gun?" Like, you aren't gonna call the suicide hotline on me because I'm just venting and throwing that out there, right? But then it turns to, good friends are like the type of, well, you don't mean that shit. Like your kids would miss you. You know what I mean? Like we make these little jokes, like, hey. 6 people would come to my funeral, and Stupid. 5 people are family members.
Yeah, it's going to be a roast.
I mean,
it's going to be a roast at your funeral, dude.
No, I already told you. I'm writing this.
He's
letter.
writing the jokes as we speak.
You gotta read it verbatim.
Dude, I can't wait, dude. I better outlive you, bro.
I think
recording.
We don't really. Sometimes we take our friendships for granted.
Yeah,
we are mental health checks, dude. We have to give them, what I mean, check in. I've gone through physical problems in the last 2 years too, Buddha, that have been like fucking overwhelming, dude. For me,
really,
my immunity is at half of what it used to be. Yeah, I got the sugar beaties, dude, during COVID.
Oh dang!
So shit shut down on me when they were trying to fix my lungs, right? And I had an oxygen tank when I was out of the hospital, and Matt's like all embarrassed and shit.
Negative 180.
I got the handicap parking, the whole deal, dude. No, but
fuck, you got a prize. I want to get that shit too.
No, I should have got handicap parking. I didn't.
You probably could have.
Yeah, Nate probably could get it now, dude. Dumbass.
This fucking dude this dude, just real quick. He was like, "How come people that are real fat get the fucking handicap stickers? Oh, they should have to park way in the fucking back. You don't get a prize because you're fat.
They're just like a fat handicap.
Walk it off, dude. Walk it off.
Fat ass wheelchair, bro. Yeah. The bariatric ones.
How do you feel about that, Michaela?
Scooters in Walmart.
You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Some things you guys say I just don't keep up with.
Dude, she's gonna have trauma after this.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Hey, if you need to talk to anyone, we're here.
No, but there's been instances where I'm dealing with this. The diabetes it's got me crashing. And I can manage going up somewhat, right, with insulin and everything. But when I drop off, it's called what's it called? Hypoglycemic.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a very scary place to be in physically.
Type 2?
Yeah. So, and your stomach starts to cramp, you start to sweat,
pale,
you start to get lightheaded on your feet, the whole thing, right? And you feel like something's wrong, like you're shaking, the whole deal. And one day I had to put the FaceTime on there, and I think I hit Maddie first, and he didn't pick up, and I hit Dustin, and he's like, "What's going on, dude?" I'm like, "I don't know." You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, "Can you just sit with me for a minute, like while I eat some oatmeal?" He's like, "Yeah, fuck, absolutely." Next thing you know, we're doing like we're doing right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We're all cracking jokes and shit, and he's fucking making fun of me and everything. But like, I needed somebody at that moment. You know what I mean? And thank God these guys pick up. You know what I mean? Like, because you never know. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
crazy.
I could have fallen in my fucking apartment and just my girlfriend would have known. These guys would have known. I'm like, I need to call somebody.
Yeah.
Period.
They'd have felt it in California on the San Andreas.
Yeah, once you hit the ground, dude, you're on the second floor.
Grab me my M&Ms. Dude. Where's my fucking M&Ms, dude?
You're gone, dude.
I used to think that diabetes was like something that you just got if you were heavy and you had to keep it forever.
Yeah.
My father-in-law, man, has like reversed that shit pretty much. Like he's been doing his thing, and like there's a lot, dude. There's some videos I could send you that's changed my, because I was pre-diabetic when my wife and I first got together, and the doctor was like, when you're pre-diabetic, you're already pretty much diabetic.
Foot in the door.
The wheels just haven't fallen off the shit yet.
That's exactly what happened, Buddha. Is I was a foot in the door when I went in for COVID, and they put dexamethasone in my lungs, which is a heavy steroid, as well as like vancomycin in my veins. You know, they were throwing the kitchen sink at me. They gave me the Darth Vader mask. Like I was going to die. They didn't care how they were going to save me. So they did, but they shut my pancreas down in the meantime. So
You don't need that.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about your pancreas, dude, while I was in the hospital.
Does it create pancakes?
No, I wish.
Can you pull it out and drain it for all the drugs?
You sell it?
Can you get
sell
high
it?
off of the juice?
Can you sell it on the black market to the Chinese, dude?
Absolutely. I know a guy.
It's just
I know a guy.
We have to talk about it off
I
air,
need
though.
4 of those and chicken and waffles to go, please.
it's just so weird too, as you I mean, because like I said, we've 12, 13 years, and as we've gotten older, like it's also can cause great depression. Like getting like 47 years old, I started thinking like, geez, like, and I too have struggled with some health stuff.
Yeah, our bodies are getting older.
And I'm like, man, this sucks.
Man.
You know, and it's like, no, it really doesn't. That's part of life, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you start to become more grateful for the things that you lose sight of when these things happen to you, you know, and it's like what's really important to us as people, right? It's not money. I mean, to pay your bills, stuff like that. I'm not saying money's not important, but that's not what life's about.
Yeah.
It's not about fast cars.
It's about hanging out.
You know, huge houses.
About hanging out.
About hanging out, laughing.
Rusty trombones.
That's what got me here, dude.
hanging
Just
out.
Hanging out, bro.
Like,
What does he say? I'd fucking knock. It's not about rusty trombones.
It's not about this pussy juice cocktail and the shit stained balls. It's about love and connection. What are you?
Connection.
you know,
Should have just ended the thing on that, dude. With last thing that Zane wants to.
There it is on a rattlesnake. What is this shit, man?
and now it's like, you know, goes from, you know, being in shitty relationships. Zane, I'm talking about Zane. I've had my shitty relationships and stuff to now to a woman over the past about 4 or 5 years that just adores this guy.
Oh yeah.
That just waits on him hand and foot.
Dude,
That-
they have it.
and Jordy, hands down, the best Rice Krispie treat
dude.
maker in the world.
Oh, word?
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I got some up in my office I'll share. But I mean, he goes from
it's like
shitty relationships.
Dude, dog walks
Two-
with 2 bulldogs
he's
and
got
a radio flyer,
2
dude,
English-
around the neighborhood, dude.
2 English bulldogs, dude. He's sending me videos of pulling him in a wagon. And,
Dude.
you know, it's like
My life is all right.
In his
it-
bikini.
And we laugh because it's like, you know, I think the last time we went out, we were at a Limp Bizkit concert.
Fuck yeah.
You know,
I did it all for the nookie.
yeah, and guess what? Like, a fight almost happened at the end, and we had to walk away. But
I gave him the Jedi fucking way, dude. I'm like, do you want to go home or do you want to go to jail, dude? No, dude.
these aren't the droids.
This is
you're
not
looking
this is not the
for.
fight you're looking for, dude.
But I mean, it's just so different, like his lifestyle and stuff like that. But there's all these calming, serene moments for him. That doesn't mean that I don't get a call and he's like, "Hey, listen, I'm working on getting my passport. We're going to Colombia," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, I'm in. I already got my passport."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, for the most part, it's so different, and it's such a relief on my side too to know that he's doing well, that he's healthy, making healthier decisions, that he's happy at home.
Yeah.
That he loves his job, like, and I'm not saying that, like, I actually mean that. Because when you worry about other people and, you know, you just never know if something's gonna happen, it's scary. and to sit and go, you know, hey, like I feel like Zane's got his shit together most of the time. You know, he has made a lot better decisions the past few years, and he's been a great friend and always will be. And
it's monkey see, monkey do, dude. You know what I mean? Like you look around and you see what works and you see what don't work. It's working. You know what I mean? Like I can look over to my right and I can look over to my left, and I can definitely look out the front door. I could go down the street and figure out what's not working. You know what I mean? Real quick.
Yeah, it's because we started hanging out with people that actually
give a shit about each
to
other.
Care.
Yeah.
You know, and you are who you hang around. You want to be a fucking polished turd, you hang out with them people that are at the fucking clubs until 1.
I could be a punk tomorrow. It's, you know what I mean? Like, literally. I have to choose not to be on a daily basis and I have people that depend on me now. You know what I mean? That's a big thing too. Like I put a ring on a girl's finger and I told her, you know what I mean? Like,
congratulations.
You know what I mean? Like,
Andy's independents now.
Yeah,
almost. She's gonna be changing those, dude. Yeah. She has no idea what she's doing.
She will be. She would change it.
Yeah, I know.
That's sure a complaint.
And that's a fetish thing too.
You know.
She'd feed you a Rice Krispie treat while changing your diaper.
Somebody needs me to come home.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like there is, you know, 2 dogs and a beautiful woman that depend on me coming back.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? And like I earned that and I deserve that and I have to, you know, nurture that.
And if you don't mind me asking, how is the relationship with your babies? Do you have a good relationship with your kiddos?
So I wouldn't say great. Me and my daughter have been estranged for about 4 years. Decision that she has made, and I have my suspicions why. And she hasn't made any contact with her grandparents, and she's gone a different path in her life. Just put it that way, right? Okay. I don't think she wants me to see her struggle the way she is right now. And that's okay. You know what I mean? And then she's also, you know, she's watched me struggle too many times to know that it hurts to let me back in.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Mm-hmm. That fucking sucks, dude. But I'm taking me a minute, but I'm almost at peace with it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can talk about it.
And that'll still come. I mean, it can still come too. You know what I mean?
And then my son's a little bit mad at me right now too, dude. He's got me on block right now, which is okay because I told him, I said, it's the texting. You know, we got into it over texting.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I hate that.
Stupid, dude.
I hate it.
And I said, dude, nobody disrespects me like you do on the phone. I go, you don't call me back. You don't text me back. What? And I just didn't give him space.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? He's a grown-ass man. And I'm still treating him like a child. And he didn't like it. So we've been on, the outs for a little bit, but I keep tabs on him, right? And I know what's going on. And I feel like it's bent, but it ain't broken.
Yeah, it'll come. I mean?
And when it comes back, it'll come back even better.
Yeah, that's good, man.
That's what I pray for every day.
That's what's up, man.
But like, I know what my responsibility is in all of it. Like, I have to stay in that headspace. Like, okay, you know what I mean? When they're ready, they'll come home. And that's how I feel. You know what I mean?
That's good though.
Well, that's like one of the harder things too, like, or at least for me, was like, getting sober and like, when you like brought up the fact that like the second time or whatever, and you got like a year to the date, but then you were like comparing, and stuff. And it's like, when I did treatment at CVH, but I did detox and left. Like, the first time I went through treatment was like Crossroads, and like that was like the first and only time like so far. But, I was sitting there like, okay, now I'm sober. Like, why isn't my fucking parents talking to me? Like, why aren't my fucking parents bringing me or like coming and visiting me like on family day? Like I'm fucking doing, I'm a week sober, and stuff like that. And it's like, that was something that I really had to work on and like learn was I already fucking did my part. My part is what got it to where it is right now.
Yeah.
Right. And like, whether that was years with my parents, you know what I mean? Or, a short time with like a friend that whatever that was, like there was different times where I destroyed everything. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, he was saying about his son, it's hard to trust and then potentially lose it again. Right. And like, I did that with like the detox of my parents and they didn't trust, and so I had to fucking learn and accept that shit will potentially get better. All of it might not. Like some stuff might not ever get better, right? But if it gets better, it's not going to be on my terms and it's not going to be on my time.
Yeah.
Right? All I can do is make myself available. And if so, like say, hey, I'd like to clear this up or like talk about this, but it's no longer in my hands to fucking determine when I'm in good graces again with someone else. You know?
And dude, to be honest with you, Buddha, my daughter has seen me in multiple hospital beds.
Yeah.
For multiple years. and doctors saying, yeah, he's in there. I don't know if he's, ready or if he's going to leave or what. We don't know. So that was very hard for her, 16, 17, 18 years old. You know what I mean? And then, my son he's a sweet kid, right? And I didn't always treat him as he was a sweet kid. You know what I mean? I tried to make a man out of him, at 16, 17, 18, instead of letting him turn into a man himself. You know what I mean? So I was a little hard on him. You know what I mean? Like when I had him for a year and a half and he was about to graduate, and, he was spoiled with his mom, and he was given a car, and I got him that. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, dude, you're not pulling your weight. You ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. You got all this shit. So I'm going to systematically start taking this shit from you. And it scared him. He was 18. And he's like, bye.
Oh, man.
Because I said, day 7, I'm taking that car. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm taking the TV, then I'm taking this, then I'm taking that. He was supposed to be getting B's and holding a job, or getting B's and staying in sports. And he started getting C's and not working, and D's. And I'm like, hey, dude, what's going on here? So I started trying to give him the tough love, and I'm like, it didn't work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it strained it. And when I was here, I put my son through some shit too. Yeah. When I was here at ARC, there was some shit that happened, we didn't even talk about, but some shit that happened before I came to ARC this last time, where I was in a coma. Right? I got put in a coma. The police beat me up pretty good. You know what I mean? I went into a psychosis, and my son didn't know where I was. Matt came and said, hey, I think I got a place. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. Right. And my son was calling around hospitals in Tucson. And he was calling around, rehabs in Phoenix. My son is fucking like 9, 10 years old. And they has to deal with this shit. And I think finally Maddie or Faye got on the phone with my ex-wife and told him, like, yeah, we got him, and that was, the shit that I put my family through, and then, when I went into COVID, me and my daughter was shaky, and I didn't know if I was coming out of the hospital then, Buddha.
How many days you were in there? 21 or
28 days.
28 days.
Wow. Yeah. And so my son had just turned 18. He had just left living with me. Like literally, thank God he wasn't living with me when it happened. He went back up to his grandparents, and, I said, hey, son, I have to talk to you about something. I'm in the hospital. What the fuck's going on? I'm like, well, I'm about to tell you about it. You're an adult. I can tell your grandparents, and they can tell you. I can tell your mom. No, tell me now. I go, okay, buddy. So 50-50, I'm in the emergency room right now for the 3rd time in a month. And they're talking about 3rd floor, 4th floor. 4th floor means you're going on a ventilator and you're probably not going to make it out. Yeah. I had to have a conversation with my son, like 50-50, I'm going to make it out of the fucking hospital at 18 years old. And my mind went all the way back to the pain and the turmoil of me losing my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what that's going to do to my son.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What that's going to do to my daughter. Period. And what path trajectory that's going to put them on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Friends are not friends. I'm still their dad. There's going to be a hole there.
Yeah.
And I was worried to death about that. And I had, he's like, I'm coming to see you, after I told him I might not live, out of this hospital. And I said, son, you can't come see me. Nobody can come see me.
Yeah.
Like it was like you're in prison a little bit, and you don't know if you're going to be walking out the front door or walking down death row.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I was at in that hospital stay. So, I put my kids through some shit, dude. And by the grace of God, I'm still here. So I feel like I got a chip in a chair, with them. Like I still got, a shot, and it'll come back, like Dustin said, when it's supposed to, and when, the time is right for him, not me.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one last thing. I mean, if you could speak on behalf of, hey, this is where I was at, this is what I did to get out, what kind of advice would you give to people that just no hope and just sitting there mulling, hanging themselves or shooting themselves in the head or doing whatever, just ending, feeling any kind of way?
Buddha talked about it earlier. Like, you just don't see the future when you're in the present, and it's dark as fucking dark can be. Mm-hmm. And my prayers used to be like, God, is this going to be the line that kills me? You know what I mean? Like, I had no thought of spirituality or anything, but I feel like you have to ask for help in your heart. You have to be willing. You have to be willing and honest. And first and foremost, you have to be willing and honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself to say that if you continue at this rate, you're going to die. Mm-hmm. Like, put it in the terms of that. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people don't value their own life. You know what I mean? So reach out and tell somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, it's that important that you don't suffer in silence. That's the biggest killer, I believe, of all these mental health issues, all these people who don't get help, who OD by themselves. You know, that me not opening that door and telling my friend, you know what I mean? I could have died. I should have died. You know what I mean? A million times. If you're honest and willing enough to tell yourself that you're fucked, and then, you know, next tell somebody else, you're probably on the right path to getting help.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
You cannot sit in a room and suffer in silence by yourself.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, hearing Matt's story, your story, Dustin's story, like it's always the same type of thing. It's like once you get involved in that fellowship with other people, you know, it's a different environment. You know, you're not alone. You guys are doing this together, and you almost become like a family. I can see that in almost every story that we hear.
I'm a better looking brother.
He's way buffer though, bro. I gotta give him that.
Down syndrome.
Dude, I appreciate you driving down.
Hell yeah,
here
dude.
Yeah, man.
And sharing the Vanilla Gorilla story.
Yeah, how did you get that name other than your natural
You want
born
me, bro?
stance? And,
So when I was growing up, as a kid, I used to just kind of always be bigger than everybody else.
yeah.
When I was about 19, 20 years old, I started wearing those Ben Davis shirts. Remember those fucking...
Oh shit, with the gorillas
gorilla
on
on it, yeah.
Yeah.
And so my buddy, they started calling me Miklo at first because I was the only white kid, right?
Blood
with all
in,
these
blood out, bro.
Yeah. So I was the only white kid with all these Mexicans. And then they started calling me the Vanilla Gorilla, and it just stuck, dude. So there's still some guys that call me Miklo, and then Costner is like the one of them. So I got a bunch of little nicknames.
My son calls him a king of the kiss.
Look what I can do.
Yeah.
Look at
Heck yeah, man.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me, dude. I'm in a puddle of sweat right now, dude.
Oh no, you're good.
Fucking air
Thank you, bro.
conditioner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michaela.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Thank you to the ARC for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Oh, I was just gonna say thank you. You guys did a really good job. I didn't need to cut in.
It's always awesome having you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
today.
very much, Michaela.
If anybody out there needs help, ask somebody or call your local treatment center with substance abuse, mental health. I don't care what it is. You know, call somebody, ask somebody, and then when you're on the other side of it, fucking help somebody. You know what I mean? If you come through this thing, help somebody. That's all I got.
Yeah. That's what's up, man.
Thank you.
You guys have a good one, man. Much love. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Oh yeah, I forgot the. Woo! Later, guys. We out of here. We'll see you. Peace. What's going on, everybody? This is Buddha from the Arcast, and I just wanted to thank you for checking out this week's episode. It means a lot, and if you could share it with a friend or a loved one, somebody in need in recovery, or maybe somebody who just needs that little bit of extra positivity in their life, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you would like to join us here on the Arcast, either in the studio live or online, hit us up. The links are down in the show notes of this episode, and on there, you can find direct links to our main website here at Americas Rehab Campus and all of our social media platforms. Follow us. We keep the posts positive and motivational, focused on recovery, health, and wellness. As you know, in this modern day and age, we need as much love as possible, y'all. And as always, if you or somebody you know is in need of substance abuse treatment, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're open 24 hours a day, and our direct phone number is 1-833-272-7342. Once again, that phone number is 1-833-272-7342. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Much love and God bless. Peace.